Hi guys, this is Deepak and I'm here with a very good friend of mine, Ankur Jain. We'll tell you all about him. He's an entrepreneur, he's a visionary, and he's changing the world. So I'm glad you're here. I'm going to talk to him a little bit about his life, and I'm waiting for you to come on. So I see only 3 people right now, 7. Let's get it to a few hundred immediately. And if you like what you're saying, then yes, press the like button. And also, if you have any ideas based on what we share with you, then send them along, because right now the world is in crisis. As you know, there's social injustice, economic injustice, ecological damage, extinction of species, mechanized death. I could go on and on. It's so depressing. And as I've said a few times before, if you don't think the world is going insane, then you're declaring your own insanity. We don't want to do that. We want to have a sane conversation. We want to listen to your ideas. But let's start with what Ankur is doing. Ankur Jain, all his information is there. And so spread it, send your friends a link to this conversation and tell them about it. But also the link will be afterwards on Twitter, on YouTube, everywhere where there is social media. So we need your help, because only by being the change we want to see in the world can we transform the world. So Ankur, tell me a little bit about your childhood. I know your parents, your dad and your mom, but I'd like to know a little bit from you. See if Facebook is sending a message.
Well, first of all, it's so good to be here. So thank you. Look, getting everybody's help to solve these problems is, the most important thing. So, I grew up in Seattle. My family came from India to the United States, and my father, who obviously you know very well, has been his whole life trying to figure out how to build companies that make people's lives better. He's now actually working on a company called Viome, which you might know about, which is trying to figure out how to use the microbiome information to end chronic disease. To do my part, what I've spent the last...
Plus, you went to school in Seattle, high school, then Stanford.
So I grew up in Seattle, and then I went to Wharton undergraduate in Philadelphia.
He's a kid, and he's changing the world. Okay.
Well, look, so it's funny. I started college. I'm the idiot who started college in 2008, going to business school, right when the entire business world was crashing. But everything in life happens for a reason, right? And when I was in college, I started this concept called Kairos, which means the right moment. And the idea was that...
So there are the 2 words which are very interesting in Greek, Kairos and Chronos.
Yes.
And they're both different ways of looking at time.
That's right. And Kairos is the opportune moment, right?
Yes.
The chosen moment.
Timing and finesse.
And what's interesting is when you think about 2008 and the financial crisis, that downturn actually created an opportunity for some of the smartest people in the world, rather than going into just banking or consulting, to put their work and their talents into building things that solve real problems.
And now you've built something. Tell us about it.
Well, so I think one of the biggest crises facing society today is that things are just so unaffordable, right? I mean, you work hard, you go to the best college, you graduate, and you have student loans so much by the time you graduate that you're already starting behind, right? And then you want to get a job, but rent is so expensive, right? And then it gets even worse when you're ready to start a family, and now you're trying to pay for your child care and to buy a home. And so what I've been working on with Kairos is, can we use technology to make these things more affordable?
So how do we do it?
So I'll give you an example. When you rent an apartment today, the landlord will take thousands of dollars from you just to move into the apartment, right? And 40% of young people today have zero savings. So you're blocking so many people from accessing the housing market. So we started a company called Rhino.
Spell it.
Rhino, Rhino, like the animal. And it's very simple. We said, instead of paying a security deposit, you can now just pay $5 a month for insurance. We'll protect the landlord so you can keep your hard-earned money, right? In the first 6 months, we gave back renters in New York $20 million in savings, right? We have over $45 billion of cash in the United States alone that's locked away in security deposits that we can give back to everyday people. Right?
And so now this is taken off, right?
Yes, we're now expanding across the country, and we're trying to find other ways to make life more affordable too, right? So Rhino can save people thousands of dollars on their security deposit. Now we're building companies to give everybody a path to home ownership. So imagine just by paying your rent, if you could earn rewards and points like you do on an airline, right? But you can use those to buy your home when you're ready. So instead of lighting your money on fire, you actually get something back for it, right? And so we're trying to build these innovations like this. You know, one of the problems that I think is so stressful for people is if you want to start a family, you can't afford childcare, right? And young people today, both parents are going back to work, right? But how crappy is it that you go back to work, you spend all day working away from your child, and then after your tax, all of your income just goes to the childcare. So you're not making any more money, and you don't get to spend time with your baby. And so what we've been doing is we've actually created a new business now where you can actually turn your home into a childcare center, right? So we'll give you the licensing, the training, the insurance, etc. So you can stay at home, take care of your baby, provide a childcare center for the rest of the neighborhood, and now the other parents have the ability to put their kids in a trusted, safe place at a cheaper cost, and everybody wins. So you're still generating income for the family. The other families in the neighborhood now have access to childcare, and both parents can create income across the neighborhoods.
So when you listen to this kind of conversation, you realize that there's a creative solution for almost every problem in the world. In fact, every problem in the world is an opportunity for your creativity.
That's right.
And a few months ago, we were together in the Middle East, and you brought together people from all over the world.
Yep.
And basically, we were brainstorming on ideas like this and creative solutions to everything from affordable housing to healthcare to entrepreneurship.
Right.
And tell us a little bit about that process that we went through. I was there, privileged to be there with you.
Well, so I think what's so important for everybody here in this, even watching this, right, is that you don't have to be a president or a government leader anymore to solve the world's biggest problems, right? If you think about it, it almost doesn't matter who wins the 2020 election because Jeff Bezos is basically president, right? I mean, individual private sector people like us can actually build things that change the world. And so in Dubai, we were so lucky. We had Deepak, we had a group of brilliant, amazing people hosted by the Crown Prince Sheikh Hamdan to say, what are the big ideas that we can go build without waiting for government, right? Could we find a way to figure out healthcare costs? So, you know, we had this idea of just by creating a confidential data transparency model where hospitals can anonymously share results on how their treatments are going, can people get better access to what care they should pay for and not to save all that money versus just going through test after test and, you know how this is, the hospital industrial complex, right?
And the military industrial complex. Okay, so now you're involved in this entrepreneurial effort with affordable housing, childcare. What else?
So our focus is, look, what are the biggest things holding back the millennial generation? It's student loans, it's housing, it's childcare, and it's healthcare, right? So with student loans, we're trying to figure out, number one, can we give young people an alternative to getting the education and training they need for their jobs without having to take out big student loans, right? That's number one. Number two, we're looking at if you already do have student loans, can we figure out now how to help you pay them back in a way that makes you save money over years, right? And so we have a company called Pillar that we funded that does that. And we can save the average young person almost $20,000 over the lifetime of their student loans on that, which is a huge amount of money, right? On housing, we're trying to figure out how to, again, get rid of all these upfront costs. I mean, if you can pay your rent, you shouldn't be locked out of the housing market. It's outrageous.
So, Ankur, people from all
Yes.
over the world. You see Joanna Cooper, I see Aurora from Sweden, I see people from
the
India.
child care company is called My Village, by the way, Erica.
So how can people give you, of course we'll post
Yeah,
this
yeah.
on Twitter and YouTube,
Yep.
but how can people send you their ideas
Yes.
and maybe even get involved in these entrepreneurial efforts with you?
I would love to. So we are so excited to try to work with more smart people in solving these problems that part of what we're doing is, in addition to building these companies, we're also giving capital and investing capital in every one of you who has these big ideas to fix these issues, right? And so you can email me directly, always. It's just my name, Ankur, Ankur, at kairoshq.com.
Spell it.
KAIROSHQ.com. So open to all these ideas because we need more smart people around the world to fix this, right? But just think about it. A simple idea like the insurance company Rhino, right? That simple idea can get more money back into the economy than any tax reform we've had in the last 30, 40 years. $45 billion of cash sitting there doing nothing that we can give back to people, right? Imagine if we can do that for other places as well.
So my friends, now if you're not inspired, then I don't know what can inspire you. But let's stay in touch and let's continue this conversation, Ankur.
Please, yes.
And check out the website and send us feedback and get involved. When a critical mass of people get involved, the world will shift. And we have our goal right now, right? As you know, I've said it so many times, we need 1 billion people in the world together to shift consciousness so we can see a more peaceful, just, sustainable, healthier and joyful world. His dad is doing it with Biome, he's doing it with housing and affordable healthcare and many other things. Now you need to get involved and we can all do it together and we can be the change we want to see in the world. That's the only way. No social transformation occurs unless people get involved personally. Personal transformation, social transformation go together.
And thank you for inspiring all of us.
Salongo, thank you. Aurora, you're always on target. Say hi to my friends in Sweden. And all of you, thank you for joining us. Salongo
Thank you so
says
much.
she's from China, Mongolia, and she says truth right there. Okay, thank you. Take care.